Hello everybody, hope you're feeling fine. I'm just joking, no, I don't know how to sing. Oh, hi everyone, you're welcome to my channel. This is Locks and Chronicles, and you can call me Opsy Baby, Opsy Girly, Opsy Lovey, Opsy Mama, Opsy anything good. So how are you today? How are you doing? Thanks for stopping. Yeah, I did a video just maybe about half an hour ago. I've tried to upload it and then I'm doing another one. Yeah, it's a bit tasking. It's about 11:15 at night, but the last time I did 2 videos back to back like this, and in the night it did blow up. One of my best selling why am I saying selling? One of my best viewed, highest viewed videos, I did it in the night with puffy eyes. If you haven't seen that video, it is social work interview questions and answers that got me my job. I am an adult mental health social worker. I am a newly qualified social worker. I've only been practicing for 1 year. Yeah, you can clap for me. I'm a newbie. Yes, I've only been practicing social work for a year. I'm an adult mental health social worker, but I did both of my placements. I wouldn't like to be showing my belly. Let me cover it. Yeah. I did both of my social work placements in children's services. And I did both of them with the local authority. They were both statutory. Some people say I'm lucky. I thought I was doomed. So I've had 2 children's services placements. One was in the looked after children's team, and the second one was with child protection. So I do have a fair bit of knowledge, you know, about children's services. So when I was going into social work, and at the point where I wanted to decide if I would be doing adult or I would be doing children's, and if I'm doing any of those 2, what exactly I would be doing. I didn't really find a lot of personal videos to kind of guide me through making that decision. But luckily for me, my brother-in-law is an AMP now. So he qualified before me, so I used to ask him a lot of questions. So I want to be that person that you can ask questions if you have questions, because I know how it is when you're searching for answers and something to guide you. So this is the reason I'm making today's video. I just want to be able, from my own perspective, this is definitely not 100% accurate. It's from my experience, from my understanding, and from what my friends have shared with me. I'm going to be comparing adult social work with children's social work. So call it adult versus children's social work. So that's today's video. So I think the starting point, because I suspect that you like money. So I'm going to be talking about money first. Am I right? So talking about money. Children's social workers earn, I would say, considerably more than adult social workers. So roughly about £5,000 per annum more than adult social workers. So yeah, I did check this out. This gap is not necessarily up to 5,000 when we start our careers. But as our careers go on, as we advance in our careers, children's social workers do earn considerably more than adult social workers. And so put the gap at about £3,000 to £5,000 pounds per annum. That is quite a lot in the UK. It is a lot. It can be for so much. So yeah, that's the first thing. So the second point. This is just job opportunities. So there are so many. If you just put on Google now, social worker jobs. So there are more jobs in children's services than in adult services. than in adult social work. There are more openings, there are always more vacancies, always more jobs going for children's services, and less jobs going for adult services. Now, I tried to reason this out and ask questions. I asked people, why are there more jobs in children's services and less in adult services? Because if you're a newly qualified social worker wanting to work in adult services, you might not find that many openings. I didn't find that many openings. And what I was told was that children's services, the social workers, so they move around quite a lot because the job is really demanding, and you know, I think the stress is crazy, and also it's quite juicy, the pay, so they move around quite a lot, and there are so many incentives going for them. So there's a lot of staff moving around in children's services, and there is less of that going on in adult services. There's a bit more job retention, people staying in their jobs because it's kind of more manageable going. This is not the case for all jobs in adult social services. For example, there are some services that I presume are also very challenging, like emergency duty teams, like crisis teams, like mental health teams, you know. And to be honest, every social work job is challenging, but this is just my reasoning about why there are more jobs in children's services than in adult services. So the third comparison I am making today is relating to the work itself. So in children's services, if you're someone who doesn't drive, or you drive and you don't like to travel much, you might find it a bit tough. You might find it hard. I'm not going to say don't do it, but I'm just going to tell you, because especially some teams that you work, when you work in like looked after children's team, there are so many occasions that will necessitate you traveling out of your local area, because you have to place children sometimes out of the area, maybe due to safeguarding issues, or just maybe due to lack of foster carers that could accommodate the child that you're trying to place. So then you have to, most of the time, go place this child or children out of the area, and you have to do statutory visits to these children. So you have to keep on going to see them. So that's one thing about children's services that you need to think about. Unlike adults, we sort of work according to the needs of the adult, so it's very person-centered. Maybe if you're visiting someone, it's because there's a need for you to visit. It's not because it is statutory that you must visit this child. So that is a big difference, the visits. So you need to really think about this if you don't drive, or you don't really like to travel far and wide. So the number 4 thing I'm going to talk about, a child has experienced significant harm or likely to experience significant harm, there might be a need to remove that child depending on the situation. And sadly, there are many cases where this hasn't happened quite quickly enough. My personal thought about that is I find that very hard. I find it very hard, and it's one of the things that I had to question and really work on and really understand why this happens and appreciate why this happens whilst I was a student. But you know, for me that is really hard. I'm a mom, I have kids, and sometimes I know that things do not look the way that they truly are, and you know, both ways, and I struggle with that. So if you are gonna be a child social worker, that is something that you might have to face in your career, depending on the service that you're going to work for. On the other hand, if you are an adult social worker, this is not something that you might come across. You might have a duty to report it, but it will not be your job removing children. Adults, most of the time, what you need to be thinking about is you always have to assume anyway that they have capacity to make decisions, whether wise or unwise. But if it becomes clear to you that you have to do a capacity assessment, then that's what you would be doing. You would not really be thinking of removing an adult from their homes. You can safeguard, you can report a safeguarding issue, you can raise a safeguarding inquiry, you can report things to the police, but you will have the joy of not thinking about your duty of care in that way. Instead, you'll be thinking of capacity and decisions that people are entitled to making as adults. The fifth and final thing that I want to talk about, I want to compare. It seems trivial, but I'm going to say it anyway because it would have interested me, so I don't know if it might interest someone. So when you're starting afresh, when you're starting a fresh career, a fresh job as a newly qualified social worker in children's services, you are very likely, depending on the authority, you are very likely to have closer supervision, be allocated first to an academy, maybe for a period of 3 months or 6 months. That is a very high likelihood, and you will be closely monitored and closely supervised. You have maximum support as a newly qualified social worker. Most local authorities now are developing an academy. It's more like schooling social workers again after they've left the university, giving them a mentor, making sure that someone is, you know, looking after them, and they're having group supervisions. They're having maximum support that you can imagine as children's social workers before they actually start practicing independently. It's not like being on placement, because now you're a social worker, but it's kind of having the kind of supervision you had whilst on placement. So that happens for newly qualified social workers in children's services. Unlike adults, yes, you're doing your ASYE, yes, you're allocated a supervisor. There is lesser supervision, there is more practicing independently. As a qualified social worker, you do have a supervisor, you have a manager, you have people that you can go to, but you are not likely to be in an academy all over again, or to have that sort of close monitoring or close supervision that I have been describing. So that is a big difference again between children's services and adult services, or shall I say between children's social workers and adult social workers. So if you know of more comparisons, I think there are loads, but I don't want this video to be too long. It mustn't, you know, be more than 15 minutes. So that's why I have brought it to you like this. Shoki, not belgi. The soup that is very tasty has to be small, because if it's too much, it doesn't have value again. Yeah, that's the translation. So thanks for stopping, and thanks for cheering me on by watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you want me to do more videos like this. Let me know, and whatever you want me to talk about, if you have any question about social work or anything that you feel that I can discuss as a migrant in the UK, originally from Nigeria, yeah, please ask me, please let me know. Follow me on my Instagram, Locks and Chronicles. DM me if you have any question, or just leave it down here in the comment section. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if there are more things that you think about, you know, differences between these two sectors of social work. If you haven't subscribed, remember to subscribe. It does help me out. Remember to like this video, share it, leave a comment, you know, all the good stuff. Just do all this good stuff for me. You know that I love you. Mwah. Bye.